Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Kelly. I'm the study abroad coordinator. Joining us today, we have Leah from USA and we have Kate from Global Career Center. They both located in Boston. They're joining us from Boston today. We also have Dr. Alice Yan. She's the Director of Special International Program. Today, we'll talk about uh, nine cities we offered for the global internship. We will have Alice Yan to speak a few words about welcoming, and then we'll have Leah to talk about GCC program offers, the three cities, and then and Kate will talk about the six cities Global Career Center offers. At the end, I will talk about the scholarship we have available and open up for the questions. Alice, would you like to start?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you for your participation, and I'm glad to see that you plan to study abroad. As you know, the study abroad will be a great opportunity for your personal growth and also academic and career development in the future as well. So SMCCD is a district-wide program. It supports students from the three colleges of the district: Canada College, College of San Mateo, and Skyline College. We offer different kinds of study abroad programs, including 3-semester programs, 4 summer programs in 2024, 9 global internships that we're going to talk about more today, transfer abroad, and community travel program as well. So we are here to support you, and we have long-term partnership with Global Career Center, GCC, and USA, the academic internship expert, in partnership with Boston University. And we really appreciate their services and the support, and very satisfied with the services they offer to our students in the past years. So I hope that you will learn more, about the 9 programs we'll offer in 2024 and also the scholarship opportunities for you. So I want to know who is from Canada College. Would you please raise up your hand? Click the hand sign. Canada College. How about CSM? Okay, we see some hands. Thank you. Thank you. How about Skyline College? Okay, great. So nice to see you here. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your participation. So Leah and Kate, who will go first? Leah? Okay, thank you, Leah.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. I have a presentation, so bear with me as I do that. Today, I'm going to talk about USA academic internship experts. Hold on just a moment. Let's see. That's not helpful. Let's try this. There we go. Can everyone see that? You can, excellent. Okay, cool. So today we're talking about the internship opportunities with USA, which includes location in Dublin, Madrid, and Prague. So we're going to talk a little bit about who USA is, give you a little introduction about our city staff, and then talk about the placement process, a little bit about the program overview, housing, and then end it with academics. And then we'll move on to the GCC programs. And then Kate can answer any questions you might have about the other cities that you might have. So who is USA? We are a nonprofit organization that works with universities to offer 4-credit customized internship programs for students. We have over 35 years of experience placing students in internship across Europe, London, Dublin, Madrid, Paris, and Prague. Like I said, today we're going to just talk about Dublin, Madrid, and Prague. All of us at USA are dedicated to creating meaningful internship experience and programs because we've seen that real life benefit that students gain from those experiences. So what does an internship mean? It can mean that you'll gain those crucial experience and professional skills that sometimes you don't learn in class. It helps increase your global network. It also, makes your resume kind of rise to the top because it's a little bit unique. And you might also even find improved starting salary compared to peers who don't intern. So we're really passionate about internships, and I can't wait to talk to you more about it. Who we are, as I mentioned, my name is Leah and I'm in the Boston office. I get to talk to great university students and talk about the experience, but at the heart of our program that we have USA staff members in Europe. And in each of our location, you can count on USA's experienced staff members to find the right internship for you and to also offer support while you're on the program in the city. So we have Catherine, the Dublin director, we have Rafael from Madrid, and then we have Barbara from Prague, and they've been part of the USA team for a really long time. They know the cities inside and out, and also they have really good insight to kind of the industry and maybe internship opportunities that you might not be aware of that might be available in the city. So how does this internship process work? For USA specifically, it all starts with the individual internship consultation, and that happens around March. We get a list of accepted students from your university, and then we will chat one-on-one with the students, kind of what you want to do, what your background is, what your area of interest is, as well as, what's your 5-year goal? What's your major? What do you want to do? We have students, they're like, I'm a history major. And it's like, great. What do you want to do with that? So this is an opportunity to kind of chat about what exactly you want to do and how you can fit your internship to go and become that stepping stone to your end goal once you graduate or once you transfer to another university. Once we've completed the consultations, we will then do outreach, and we will do a network outreach to see and find. I like to say we're like a matchmaking service. We match an opportunity based on your needs and based on what companies in the cities are interested in. So some students are easy. We have marketing internship, marketing major, a company that needs a marketing intern. Excellent. Some students might be a little bit of a challenge. And so we'll try to navigate and say, okay, maybe, computer science isn't exactly easy to do, but what are those stepping stones? So that way, by the time you graduate, you can put this on your resume and you would be able to use the skills that you learned in your internship for your future career. We give you a provisional placement, and that provisional placement, you have an opportunity to review and make sure that the match makes sense. If all looks good, then you'll move on to the next step, which is an interview with your supervisor. The interview with your supervisor, in some industries like business, sometimes it's virtual over Zoom, and then sometimes it's in person during orientation week, and we'll kind of chat with you about that. We always strive and prepare students to make sure that they're over prepared. But once they do that interview and everything is good to go, we confirm your internship, confirm that the company is aware of the dates that you'd be interning and all that good stuff. And then you would start your internship that following week if you're interviewing during orientation week. So in terms of timeline for this placement process, your individual internship consultation meetings happens around March. April, May is when we do the outreach and send out provisional placement emails to the students. As I mentioned in the interview phase, that could be during, before you go abroad, or it could be when you are abroad during orientation week. Then you have your confirmation that same week, and then your internship starts that following Monday after your orientation. Okay, so program overview, as I mentioned, we have Dublin, Madrid, and Prague. In Dublin, we start June 10th and it ends August 3rd. It's you have 1 week of orientation and then a 7-week internship. And then you have for Madrid, it starts May 29th. And it's a 7.5 weeks. So you have 3 days of orientation and then 7-week internship. And then for Prague, you have similar to Dublin, where it's 1 week of orientation and then 7 weeks of internship. So where do you live? So that's a question a lot of students tend to ask us. For Dublin and Prague, students will live in shared student apartments with common areas and shared kitchen. Interns will be able to prepare their own meal, and you don't have to bring like pots and pans or anything. That is, it's furnished with that, so you have that. Your distance to the internship will vary, and that's going to be a given because every student's going to have a different internship. And so some students might be really lucky and they can have a 5-minute walk. Some other students might have to take a bus, and that's going to be dependent on internship and industry, as well as student interest as well. In terms of timeline, housing details are usually emailed before the program begins, about like 2 to 3 weeks prior to your departure, and that's going to have the address, packing list, and all that good stuff. In Madrid, because it's a Spanish language program, you will stay in a homestay. Again, distance to the internship will vary, and housing details will be finalized upon arrival. But basically, before you go abroad, you kind of write out what is interested when you're thinking about a homestay opportunity. Some students want to be with children because they want to practice Spanish that way. Other students, maybe they want to be in a more mature family style. And so that will be discussed while you're doing your consultation meeting, but then the housing information will be given to you usually right before, but like upon arrival for sure. So academic internship, as I mentioned, academic internship, this is unpaid. It is a short-term supervised experiential learning opportunity. So what that means is on top of use of staff members that are there to support you, you'll also have a supervisor that's going to be your first point of contact at your internship. We really want that opportunity to integrate practical learning with your academic studies and develop those essential professional competencies. And every internship is going to be unique to you, as I mentioned, because of that the internship consultation meeting that we have with you. So it is short-term, supervised, unpaid, but it does give you that practical and professional work experience that you can put on your resume. The academic component is going to vary by your home university. So Kelly can go more into detail about the credits and what that would look like as well. So where have students been placed? To be honest with you, really honestly don't like this PowerPoint slide, mainly because I don't want students to get stuck on a name because it changes truly from year to year, term to term, student to student, and it is dependent on what the student wants to do. There are some industries that can be a challenge, for example, healthcare, other challenging placements, as I mentioned before, computer science, but we place interns in all different majors and industries, ranging from arts and culture, communication, politics, law, NGO, and business. This slide should just show you kind of the few places we've had intern over the past 3 decades. And some companies you might see are recognizable and others are going to be less so. I think one of the key points and takeaways from this slide is that we place you based on what organization can provide you the most meaningful and valuable work for you and your professional development, and it's not based by name. So yeah, some of these students, they were marketing majors. We had education major that did the Fulbright España. We also had hospitality in that Stevens Greens Club. That was a Dublin one. Festina Lente is a NGO that works with horses, if you can tell from the logo. And so these are just a variety of opportunities that we've had in the past. So I'm going to leave you with some student quotes that I really like reading, and kind of give you a day-to-day input on what it would look like. So for example, with Lee, it was really, getting into that nitty-gritty, meeting with clients and sitting in sales meeting. And then also Samuel had a really great quote about teaching valuable lessons about your field.
喂，叔叔。Hello，叔叔。
Okay, so that's it from me. I have opportunities for questions, but Kelly, do you think we should wait until the very end?
Yeah, let's wait till end to answer the questions.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you, Leah, for the wonderful presentation. Next, we'll hear from Kate from GCC Global Career Center. Thank you, Kate.
Great, thank you so much. And I'm thrilled to get a chance to share a bit about the GCC cities. And I'm also really excited to be presenting in tandem with the USA because our organization is related to USA in many ways. We were born out of Boston University as well. So we're thrilled to continue that through line. Also thrilled with the shared ethos that we both have, which is around loving internships and that international experience that students get, as well as having comprehensive programs that are customized for college partners such as yours, and then also having personalized placement processes for students. So I'll talk a bit more about that, and I should be able to see my screen now.
Yes, we can see it.
Excellent, that's great. I'll just start with a quick introduction of the GCC. Again, we're a specialist organization that partners with universities and colleges to develop and deliver internship programs, and we love what we do. The other thing to note is just a global reach with local expertise. So having local teams in cities and countries around the world to help make the international internship experience as beneficial as possible for students. And some of those benefits are listed here alongside some student quotes as well. I know Leah talked about this, that opportunity to gain knowledge and take what you've learned in a classroom and apply that to your work or career, building tangible skills, as well as gaining some abilities or attributes, things like stepping outside your comfort zone and navigating new industries or new offices or new perspectives as well. You know, we do see this, as mentioned, as a professional, practical experience that builds upon your academics and serves as a bridge to your future career. And regardless of where you go in the world, we want to congratulate you for being part of this conversation and encourage you to take that step to have an internship, first of all, but then also to have an internship overseas. I showed the full map of GCC locations, but with SMCCD, we are focused on 6 locations for 2024. And you'll see there's 2 in Europe, 2 in Asia, and 2 in North America. And I'm going to speak to each of those, but thought I would do so by showing pictures of each of those locations as well. To the left there, you'll see Berlin and Lisbon. We have a small footprint in Europe, but really are focused on entrepreneurial centers. And Berlin for us was our first location in Europe because of the entrepreneurial and innovative ecosystem there. Really provides students with a wide range of opportunities, all in English language, and certainly includes everything from business to engineering to marketing to administration to also design, and a wide range there as well. We noticed at some point that our employers from Berlin were moving to Portugal, and we started to talk to them about that, about the host organization's experiences in Portugal and why they moved there. And they said that for some of them, it was because they were looking to move beyond Europe. They were actually looking towards Brazil as a market, or were looking towards sort of southern, sort of the Iberian Peninsula as a potential expansion for them. And also they found it was a little bit more affordable as a new business as well, and some welcoming governmental regulations and things that really helped Portugal's startup culture grow. And I say startup culture, but much like Berlin, these are both locations where it really is an innovation culture. Well, you will see academic research, you'll also see spin-offs, or you'll see secondments, meaning companies from like BMW may have a small team working in an accelerator or startup location to allow them to better work with new technologies and work with innovation as well. In Lisbon, because, as is Berlin, because of the extent to which there's global employees and colleagues coming from all around the world to these innovation ecosystems, English is the primary language of the internship. If you do have local languages or additional languages, that might provide some additional opportunities, but we do assume English language in both of these cases. The picture I shared here from Lisbon actually, shows you a typical street in Lisbon. So get your walking shoes out. That's lots of ups and downs and hills, not too far from San Francisco in that approach. But also I wanted to highlight there, public transport for all of our cities, but the street art. Berlin and Lisbon also, in addition to innovation and entrepreneurship, both have amazing street art culture and opportunities to kind of see that as an aspect of creativity as well. So Berlin and Lisbon, strong innovation ecosystems, particularly strong around business. I will say that Berlin tends to be stronger for STEM or science, technology, where Lisbon tends to be stronger related to trade, hospitality as well. I'm going to shift over to Asia, our middle column there, with a pretty iconic photo of Singapore. I will say that none of what you see in that photo existed when we first opened our Singapore operations. So Singapore is a city that is always growing and expanding and on the move and lots of things happening. A really interesting place for students because it is at the crossroads of multiple Asian cultures. It does have, multinational companies that are based in Singapore because they're able to access China, India, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, just a huge growth span of access there. And that's also when you look at Singapore itself, you'll see that with the population, you'll see that with the food, which is amazing, and also with the coworkers or colleagues you'd be alongside as well. Singapore is strong in business, in design, in sustainability, and a wide range of opportunities as well. English is the language of education. It's the language of commerce. It's also the language of our internships as well. Although during your orientation, you'll be introduced to Singlish, which is Singaporean style English, to get a sense of what that sounds like. Just like a different accent in many ways as well. And then below that, you'll see a rather bustling Tokyo street scene. Tokyo, of course, being a location in Japan that offers a wide range of opportunities for students. I will say that of all of our locations, it is the one that is the most limited for English language placements. And those placements we do find most appropriate are those within IT or related to computer science, some NGO, and then our educational services or educational endeavors, and then also some business. But again, just want to highlight that it does have a bit more limited opportunities based on English language. But again, in Asia, Tokyo and Singapore, both really fantastic metropolitan locations, and certainly highly recommended to get a chance to explore that part of the world as well. And then our final column is a little bit closer to home, Vancouver and San Francisco. Although, to be honest, that bridge could almost be used for Lisbon, because there is a bridge in Lisbon that looks almost identical to the Golden Gate Bridge. But Vancouver, just north of the border in Canada, is really well known for sustainability, for the game industry, for technology, for also for STEM fields or science and technology fields, in addition to business, trade, and again, just a wide range of opportunities there. And in San Francisco, in your backyard, of course, we've had students in everything from public health to education to engineering to to commerce to marketing, just a wide range there. And we have heard from students that, if it is their first internship or if they're looking to sort of change industry, or if, for example, they're coming from another part of the country or another part of the world, having a chance to be part of a comprehensive, customized program like this can be particularly helpful and help support the opportunity you have there as well. So great locations, and I also obviously know that the Houston locations with Dublin and Madrid and Prague are also wonderful. You've got a great array to choose from, so recommend that as well. So just a quick note on the comprehensive program. So yes, there is a placement at the core of it, but we also want to make sure that it's crystal clear, regardless of where you're going in the world, that you have a comprehensive program to support that. That internship comes through a personalized placement process, which I'll give a quick overview of shortly. We'll also provide guidance on visa paperwork, even if you're an international student in the US, to provide guidance on that. To just provide some feedback or paperwork that working with your host organization on that too. And then there's professional development, cultural activities that happen to orient you, but then also throughout to help you make the very most of your time in the city. And of course, the team is always there to coach and support you, and also celebrate as things are moving forward as well. That includes 24/7 support, everything from, even though I mentioned that Berlin is a place that is in English language, it's good to have our colleague Marie or Bernd along if you're having to go to the pharmacy to have to sort of, kind of navigate that. They can be helpful colleagues for that. Likewise in, Singapore, it can certainly be helpful. We have lots of students who take advantage of that location to travel a little bit on the weekends. And so our team can be helpful to sort of let you know sort of how that might work or how best to navigate that as well too. So again, looking to connect you to that community, the other cohort, and also build employability. The photos you see over there just happen to, I think, feature Berlin pretty heavily with a dinner. I think some students out, and then the two on the far side include a recent photo at a Christmas market, and then also a picture of students going to a sustainability fashion firm that also happened to be where one student was placed. So. Very quickly, I mentioned the placement process, and I love that visual that Leah showed earlier about how that placement process works and how it starts with you. We've kind of separated this into three different phases. So phase one is really that onboarding where we're getting to know you well through online questionnaire, individual pre-placement meeting, as well as sort of ongoing communication to confirm what you do and do not want in your internship, really what your priorities and preferences are. In addition to always keeping a close eye on what's happening in the local economy and industry, we're always talking to our network of employers to really confirm the exact projects that are available for the upcoming summer. And then during that matching phase, during that middle phase, is when we match you to a potential employer, help tee up that that interview, and that is an interview that will take place typically via screen before you arrive, but may take place in person. That interview to confirm the opportunity. And if for some reason that's not a good fit, we will have backup options in mind, but we do try our best to get it right the first time. And then that final stage of the program itself. So when you're on that placement, having individual group activities, some on-site, some online access to some events, and really looking at professional, personal, cultural, all in your academic, all of those aspects brought together as well. Included here some sample projects, and we'll also have the slides available afterwards, so you can also reach out at any point just to see an examples of those, but just to give you a sense of the range of types of opportunities available. Again, it's a very personalized placement process, and our focus will be on matching you to an organization or host organization or company based on your skills, background, and goals, and based on their current, sort of needs and initiatives and opportunities as well. You'll see here good examples of everything from, some market research to working on event planning, to helping with beta testing, to also working on SWOT analysis or doing some reading and analysis and research, to even helping out with a range of client and business development activities too. So a nice mix, and definitely best practice to have that project defined. Certainly wanted to chat real quickly about the housing. Program housing is included in your program, and it is typically student residences. The configuration does vary a bit by city, and does include, kitchen facilities, Wi-Fi, laundry, and you will commute via public transport. Typically shared bedrooms with some common areas. But again, most of the students have found it very comfortable, very helpful to be able to have a home base, and then also an opportunity to really get out and explore the city and make the most of their internship as well. And for program dates, it's an 8-week program looking at a Sunday arrival and a Saturday departure. And I've also noted here the anticipated co-op course alongside the internship that's online. And I know from past students that they've really valued that course as an opportunity to really reflect and build upon their professional experience, their cultural learnings as well. They've just included here, this will also be on the website that was shared, but the program fees to give a sense of that. And again, very happy to talk or type that through. But these are comprehensive in nature, including, some of the housing is a big part of it, but also in some cases, some visas. That's in Vancouver as well too. So I will pause there. Oops, I went backwards. I'll pause there. I'm just going to add here, and I'll put it in the chat, our general email address if there's any questions, and we'll hand things back over. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kate, for the information. It's very detailed. Yes, thank you for putting your contact information in the chat. So next we'll talk about the scholarship information. I just put our scholarship page in the chat. We also have a upcoming human info session. I'll be sharing my screen about our scholarship page. So we have several scholarships available for this internship program. We have scholarships through SMCCD Study Abroad. This scholarship, we have 5 $1,000 scholarship. Students can apply. Is designated for a global internship program. Even if you are international students, you can apply for this scholarship as well. Next, the big one is Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship. For this scholarship, it awards up to $5,000. And to qualify to apply for Gilman Scholarship, you must be a U.S. citizen and currently receiving Pell Grant. We also have fund for education abroad. That scholarship is due February. Benjamin A. Gilman deadline is March 7. Let me share another flyer we have. This one, we are doing a scholarship info session. We had one already. It was via Zoom last week. We have another one. It will be in person here, February 5th, on Skyline College campus from 12 to 2. The reason is 2 hours is we're doing first hour, we're doing the info session, and then second hour, we're doing essay workshop. As you know, all these scholarships require you to submit essays, applications. So we will actually help you to navigate how to submit your application and help you with the essay, prepare your essay. So don't miss out. Make sure you RSVP. Tomorrow is the last day to RSVP. The reason being we're serving lunch, so don't miss lunch. And yes, make sure to email us or text us if you have any questions. So I have a question from Jersey asking, send me a direct message asking, is Gilman scholarship competitive? Yes, all the scholarships are competitive. That's why we're having these info sessions to help you prepare it. So you have to understand um, first your qualification. Second, how do you prepare it yourself? Um, and then third, what are the panelists looking for when they review your application? So I highly recommend you to join our info session. If you have specific question, you can reach out to me after this info session. I can talk to you via phone or Zoom. I'll put in my contact info in the chat in a moment. And
Thank you, Kelly, for your answer to this question. And I also want to add that there is a greater chance for community college students to win this Gilman scholarship. So every year, the government give away more than 2,000 scholarships, and the general acceptance rate is about 20 to 30%. But in the past years, applicants from SMCCD, I think the acceptance rate is about 50%. So one of the two applicants from our district would win this scholarship. So we strongly suggest to you to apply for this if you are a Pell Grant recipient. Thank you.
thank you, Alice. Now we'll open up for questions. So Michelle is asking, can you please restate when the Michelle, I'll send you the information. I will drop in the flyer here as well. Yes, right here. So we'll open up for question. If you have question for Leah and Kate, please feel free to unmute yourself and to ask the questions. I know you all have questions. I know Ma, you submit application for San Francisco, right? Do you have any questions?
Oh, hi. Yes, I do have question. Is there like an internship located in San Francisco right now? Because I just currently finished my associate at Skyline, and I was hoping to do like an OPT for an internship full time.
Kate, you may share. Yeah.
Sure thing. So yeah, the program is set up for the San Francisco timing is the same as all the programs, right? So that June, July timeframe essentially. And we have worked with a number of students who are current students or who are, in OPT as well too. We do have it set up so that the timing of that internship is set up, to mirror the program with the June and July. But I know we have had students on our end do that as part of their OPT. I don't know if there's any considerations from the college regarding that in excess if students are graduating prior.
Yeah,
Thank you, Kate.
They can
Okay,
participate.
thank you.
Michelle, I know you had a question for Leah before I sent to Leah, and you also considering, because you're in healthcare, right? You're also considering, you're thinking about Dublin or San Francisco, right? So do you have any specific question for Kate or Leah?
Yes, I guess more so. Sorry, I'm trying to turn my video on so you guys can see me. Yes, so I would love to work in an internship in a hospital setting, particularly in Ireland. I just don't know how likely that is, and I'm willing to do anything like with patient care, like a nursing home. I don't really mind. I just really want to get my feet in the industry, and if that's possible, I need to look in and do more research into the different companies you posted. So I should do that too.
Thanks, Michelle. So short answer, hospitals can be a bit challenging. And one of the reasons for that in Ireland specifically is the healthcare system is a little bit different than in the US. So that can pose a bit of a challenge with patient contact as well as GDPR. That being said, it's not totally impossible. The patient contact element just might be a little bit different. So you won't be shadowing doctors. You might have an internship at a clinic that's private. And instead of really having that face-to-face shadowing doctors, it might be more administrative. So you kind of get the back, like behind the scenes on how a clinic would run. If you are also interested in nursing homes, there are opportunities for that as well. That tends to sometimes be part of like the NGO element. And there's also sometimes like therapy NGOs as well. So they might be out of the hospital, but they are still needing some therapy for maybe physical therapy, and that might be an element that you can also look into. So not necessarily in a hospital, but you still have kind of that umbrella within that healthcare that can give you that additional experience. And if you are interested in becoming a doctor, that's still really good information and knowledge to have as you apply for medical school, because sometimes pre-med students might be too busy with the science and the math, and they don't learn about the patient element. And so that will give you that like I said, stepping stone, right? So that stepping stone into that field with a little bit of a leg up. Kate, do you have other for your San Francisco?
Yeah, for San Francisco, I would say there's some of the same challenges we see in international internships, even though it is commutable by public transport to where you're sitting right now. So in some of those are regarding direct client care, regarding licensure or privacy issues are a challenge regardless of where you go in the world. So I think Leia's actually laid out some really good options on sort of what's related, like sort of what types of opportunities you can get to help prepare you, and also to gain exposure as well too.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Leah and Kate. We have another question from Kyler. He's a history major. He has complete 37 units. He's asking because he doesn't have work experience. Would that be hard to place him in an internship?
I would say, yeah,
Mhm.
it depends on, okay, primarily Dublin, Vancouver, and Prague. Excellent. So I would say it really depends on what kind of history field you're interested in. If it's like, let's say, archival, and you have no experience archiving, that might be a challenge, right? But again, I'm always the queen of stepping stone. It's like having an internship in general, being that end goal of archiving, if that's an example that I'm now sticking to apparently, we'll talk to you about how to get to that level. So for example, okay, no experience with that, but you're really into history, you have knowledge of that, you're really passionate about maybe literature. Maybe we can find an internship opportunity at a local library. Maybe it's an internship at a museum. So you're not actually doing the archiving, but again, that behind the scenes element, and you're learning kind of how to use and utilize your history degree to kind of figure out what exactly you want to do with that. Maybe it might even be with Dublin. I would say history, definitely doable. Prague, we might have to kind of think about creative ways, because what exactly are you wanting to do? And then we can kind of see if that is a pathway that we could do.
I'll speak quickly to Vancouver. And I think when we've had history majors in Vancouver, we've often looked at specific niches within history. Two great examples are regarding First Nations or Indigenous cultures. There's a lot of amazing things happening in Vancouver. Also, it's an area that has a ton of interpretation of, particularly related to tourism, and particularly in the summer related to tourism, sort of interpretation of of the local, local place and space. So that's been a place where we've had students as well too, sort of related to tourism as linked to history, and then also specifically related to the First Nations in Canada as well too.
Okay, we have one more question. Yeah, go ahead, Leah.
Oh, I was going to say also another avenue that we could look into is research. So maybe you want to eventually be a PhD in history. We can look at local universities that might have faculty member that are looking for research assistants. And so that could be another avenue as well.
Such a great idea. So we have another question from Pema, asking the student is a clinical lab scientist, wants to become a clinical lab scientist. Currently in bio major, no work experience. So what do you think of the chance getting an internship?
And
So
where
I'm asking the student how many units have you completed? Feel free to unmute yourself. You can talk. Pema?
I can talk a little bit about the
Okay,
science
thank you.
element, just but in Dublin, like I mentioned, research assistant, there might be opportunities there. So not, in the history element, but now you're looking at the science. It can, again, differ from term to term. So it is dependent on what faculty member are doing their research that summer. But during your consultation meeting, we'll talk about like what exactly you want to do. Do you want like that in lab experience where it might not necessarily be labby, but more like you do have experience, you're going to be touching, you're going to be in the lab, but it might not be exactly that bio lab that you're looking for or clinical. Or if you're like, I'm actually really interested in interning at, I want to work for a pharmaceutical company and that lab experience. We may be able to find an opportunity where you might not be in that lab, but you are working in a pharmaceutical company or organization. So you have that, again, stepping stone background and context to that. So that is definitely doable in Dublin. Prague can be challenged with Madrid. I think I forgot to mention this, which is like really bad on my part, but you do need at least 4 to 5 semesters of Spanish. So that is dependent on that lab element as well, because if you don't know the Spanish, they might not want that. So I just put that out there, but Dublin is definitely doable.
I'll jump in there too and just say that even if not direct lab, we'll sometimes look into what's related. So if a longer term research project is at a lit review time frame or is looking at sort of an analysis sort of a stage of the project, that those are opportunities that students have had related to lab experience kind of based on where they are and where a particular research is. And then also beyond academic labs, also sometimes looking at, like as Leah mentioned, looking at technology transfers. So sometimes looking at industry, sometimes looking at launching, sometimes looking at sort of the UX as well too. We sometimes they'll be looking for a longer term placement for lab, given the amount of time, if it's very proprietary or not proprietary, but very specific equipment to what they're doing. I'm specifically thinking of a few sites in Singapore that will often take students for a 4-month-long or 6-month-long internship or co-op and in very specific lab environments, but they do that because the students are able to become fully immersed in that particular project. But I mention that because there's often related as well too. Our 3 strongest areas for science have been internationally Vancouver, Singapore, and Berlin, but there have been some opportunities in San Francisco as well. In fact, our lab opportunities in San Francisco happen to be within a hospital, but it was certainly on the research arm, not on the client arm.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I was mute before and was talking over my mic while I was on mute. So thank you so much. Currently I am majoring in biology and I will be transferring this year. I'll be getting an associate degree in biology and transferring over to four-year college this fall. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for the additional information. And I do want to tell a lot of the students here that no work experience is okay. You just might have to broaden your umbrella a little bit more with the creativity and what we can find. But I don't want students to think, well, I have none, because in reality, this can be your first. So, you know, I don't want students to think that because they already don't have anything on the resume, they can't do it. That's not true.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, it's perfect timing for you to do an internship before you transfer into the four-year university. Yes. Well, reach out to me. I will have a question. Ma asked deadline. Alice already answered March 1st. I know you already submit your application, Ma. I have your application. We're just currently working out a process on how students can pay the deposit. We do require $500 deposit before we place you into the internship program. So I will send out that information in the next few days, probably end of this week or early next week. So please on the lookout for an email from us, studyabroad@smccd.edu. Yes. Michelle, I would encourage you to apply if you're really interested in the program. And I know both Kate and Leah answered your questions. I know you had a question about the housing. Once Leah find that information out for you, she will send us the information.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Do you all have any other questions? If not, thank you for joining us. I'll stop the recording right now.